Timm, how is it to be the managing director of Horizon GmbH?
It's interesting. It's a new challenge for me, and I've been working now for 13 years almost in Horizon GmbH, and it is still a journey. Yeah? So I started in Horizon GmbH with the spare parts department. I did the ISO, means quality management, and then I took over controlling. Yes, and now finally I took over the managing director job. And yes, it's a challenge, but I like to work with the people. I like to work with the Japanese. I like to work with the Horizon machines.
If you think back of 13 years when you started at Horizon, the market was entirely different. The products you made were entirely different. So take us a little bit on that journey.
I did not very well about the market because I just come from transportation. So I made an education in transport agency. And then I came into this printing market or print finishing market. Of course, it was totally different. We sold smaller boxes. We sold in a more relaxed way. So customers have been more relaxed. And if they needed a spare part, for example, they said, okay, I can wait 2 days or 3 days. But this changed completely during the years. So nowadays, the part have to be at customer side within 1 day. The machines are getting more complex, so we have to offer solutions. We have to offer really customer value. So it's a really value-added service at this moment. So, and there was a really development in the market.
And I mean, have you also become more ambitious in the years? I mean, as a company, because I mean, when I visit Horizon, both here in Japan, when I talk to your colleagues, when I come to customer sites, it also seems that Horizon has like an appetite for both innovation and market shares and becoming a very important and dominant, in a positive way, player in the market. Is that something that you recognize when I'm saying this?
Yes, very much. So we try to be, let me say, we try to be aggressive in the market, and especially in the development of innovations. We try to be the driver in innovations. We feel that the market is demanding changes. We feel that the market is demanding solutions, and that is what we developed during the years very much. Started from the machine, started from the solutions, or even the staff is very well educated today. So there is a development also in education. So,
if you think of this for a second, and we talk about that journey that Horizon has been on, how does that compare to you as an individual? I mean, people that don't know Timm very well. I mean, do you have that personal drive and engagement and that curiosity for the market? Or try to describe yourself a little bit.
I think I'm the person who is never finished to learn. So I really would like to learn something. I did the education. I did a study in controlling, study in management of business administration. Still not finished, unfortunately. But that is what I very much feel. So we have to develop during our lifetime. So this will not stop. And this is the biggest change for the humans, I think, that we have to learn more. So we cannot have an education when we are young and then working for the whole lifetime. We really have to learn our whole lifetime, and this is important. So I'm very much curious about the new products. I'm very much curious about all the development in our economy. So it's super important, and for me as well, the staff have to be motivated by themselves. And I think we can only reach this by having this mindset of education.
And if you, I mean, I take this a little bit, maybe a step further, because you mentioned yourself that you have a background from transport and logistics kind of thing. And I think that if you look at the, in quotation, Amazon economy, everything becomes about more and more about availability, about having the effectiveness when it comes to supply and everything like that. And we live in the middle of a time where supply is, to at least to some components and to some kind of technologies, to paper and things like that, something that is really challenging right now. Before we talk about what I just said about these things, I was just thinking that the learning that you have got from having a background both as a controller and also in logistics and transportation, is that something that you can use in your current position?
Absolutely, because I have a different point of view onto the market, but also, and this is additional, I have the feeling that we have to be quick, that we have to be very, very fast in delivery. We have to be also fast in giving the offer to the customer. So I think logistics, supply chain, processes, I think everything have to work together, and we have to consider the new work or the new world and the new logistics. I think Amazon is a really good example for doing the business in a perfect way, in a perfect logistic way. Of course, we can consider, is this the right way? So do I really need my shoes then this day, today, for example? Or is it also okay to use it for the next day? Because from my point of view, there are critical infrastructure and there's not critical infrastructure. So we have to divide a little bit and say what is critical infrastructure, and we have to use our logistics and supply chain more for critical infrastructure.
And that, I mean, comes back to when I asked you about the supply issues that you see on, for example, if you have a machine where you're missing a component for making it ready for shipping. Is that something? I mean, because the COVID crisis, fortunately we are a little bit on the way out of it, which is good, of course, but it has changed a lot of things. When you talk about that maybe there's more critical infrastructure issues compared to others, is that some, I mean, I think if you buy, we have a BQ500 behind us, but if you have that one, for those people investing in it's critical infrastructure for their company and for the output and living of a lot of people, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's basically
true.
So
I was just trying to understand that how much does that influence the potential of success for a company like Horizon, that you have these things under control?
Of course, some parts we cannot control, unfortunately. Especially logistics, we are depending on third-party suppliers like the logistics companies. But nevertheless, we try to have a balanced stock availability in our warehouse. We have approximately 17,000 parts on stock, and this is increasing. So our customers, our dealers, they are really rely on us to deliver in time. And that's what I mean with the critical infrastructure. So if a customer from Horizon needs to print, I don't know, pharmaceutical products, for example, I think that's critical infrastructure, and we have to deliver in time. So that's really important for us to have a customer experience that the customer can work. That's for us the basic.
You mentioned yourself that you've been working for Horizon for 13 years. Being in your position as the managing director now, has it been a big personal change to be the one that can actually make the decisions?
Yes, absolutely yes. It is really new to make decisions by yourself. It is more responsibility, and you directly feel if you made a wrong decision. I think you can feel that very well. So otherwise there is another person and the person said, please consider your decision. And make the decision first, you consider again. And nowadays I have to make a decision. Of course I do that with our management team or with our staff together. But you feel that directly. If you make a wrong decision, you can feel that immediately. Of course we try to make the best decision. But of course, you always, if you are in a managing director position, you can make some wrong decisions. That's okay.
But I was also thinking from the perspective that when you have been working, I know that you have been working on a higher level in Horizon for many years, of course. But I was just thinking the fact that now you are the top of Europe, basically, right, or GmbH for that organization. So now the influence you have is from staffing to marketing activities to how you want to develop the business in the German-speaking market. I was just thinking that it must be fun and it must also be nerve-wracking to some extent.
Of course, yeah. So, first of all, we are responsible for the German, Austrian market, and with our daughter company in the Nordic market. So German-speaking market would also be Switzerland, but there is a own dealer in Switzerland. So yes, I'm responsible for the spare parts for whole Europe, but we have several dealers in Europe. Nevertheless, of course, there is a big how to say, a responsibility, yes, for marketing, for sales, for our staff at all.
And I would say also maybe a pressure, because I mean you have to report back to your parent company in Japan, and because we need to deliver some results, right?
That's right. But I have the fully support from Japan, and that is a little bit pressure taking. So that takes a little bit pressure. Of course, there is a big pressure. Yeah, that's right. But nevertheless, I have a really good team. So I have good staff. We have good managers in our company. So I have a really good support. And yes, pressure, of course.
But there's also competitiveness. That's always interesting, right?
Yes, that's of course.
Yeah. So how is it to work in an international company where you have, I mean, on one side you have the German culture, which has like, you have your merits, and then you have the Japanese with their merits, and now how does it work together for you guys?
Of course, some of us has difficulties with the different cultures. But that's what I really love. So I love to work together with the Germans, love together to work with the Japanese. So we had Oe-san as a managing director. I think that was a really good cooperation with him, and we reached many things. That's very positive. And yeah, I've been working now for 13 years together with the Japanese. And it will never be boring. So it will never be boring, and it's still interesting for me. It's really nice. So and therefore I'm studying Japanese language.
Yes, of course. Let's move a little bit to something that is really interesting: the market. Yeah. How are customers appreciating what you do? Because I mean, you are doing a lot of new technology, a lot of new development. Is it easy to get things to market?
I think it's never easy things to get market. I think it's a lot of work to do that. I think starting from marketing, sales activities, and of course also to understand the market demand and the demand of our customers. I think that is difficult, but nevertheless we are successful what we are doing. We got a really nice order last month. It was the biggest order we ever got in Horizon GmbH.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I think that shows to everybody that Horizon is a really state-of-the-art producer, and that our machines are fitting perfectly to the market. Of course, also our service have to be perfect. Our staff have to be perfect. So that is what we are really trying to change, that we are offering a perfect service. So it must be a really value-added, complete product to our customers.
We are sitting in your, I don't know if you call it experience center or demo center, whatever I mean, there's, sweet child, many names, right? I was just wondering, because I mean, how important is it for people? I mean, we have in the COVID had, a lot of cancellation of trade shows, and a lot of things have gone virtual. And I also know that you do virtual demos for your customers here, but how important is it to actually have hands-on equipment in a buying process?
So the showroom is our biggest marketing tool. So we use this one to show all the products to our customers, or almost all products. We feel that the customer feels very much welcome when the customer is coming to Quickborn here into our showroom. We call showroom. Yeah. Maybe a little bit old-fashioned, but we call showroom. That's brilliant for us, to bring the customers here to Quickborn, to show all our machines, to show our potential. And I think also the customer get the feeling, what is the company about? So we are not selling products, we are also selling Horizon. So I think Horizon is a brand, and we as a brand would like to be perfect for our customers.
We spoke about it a little bit earlier, that when you work as an Horizon entity, all the investments you do in the market, of course, benefits Horizon also in a long-term perspective. I think that has been, I mean, you build up your reputation and your market by being very loyal to the market and very precise on delivering on all the things you say. Do you think the demands and the requirements in the future will be higher from the PSPs and the binderies, or how do you think the things will develop in a competitiveness and a competitive situation?
I think we, as a producer of printing finishing machines, we are not anymore just the producer of these machines. We are producing also software, and we produce the IceLink. So the IceLink will be leading to the future. Of course, this is very much competitive, and we see the difficulties with cooperation, especially with other companies, to integrate the.
So you make sure that the software can work across different brands and different vendors?
Of course, we try to.
Yeah.
We try to. At this moment, we are connecting all the whole Horizon products together into this ICE link and into this, to managing all the data flow. But this is becoming more and more important into the future. I think we can see that also in the automotive. So I think it's not a car producer anymore. I think it's a software company. Yeah. So and the print finishing market is also developing in this direction. So we have to be fit in IT. We have to be fit in data. So data analytics, data-driven decisions. We have to help our customers to using the data by using, of course, our data from the machine and of course also from competitors' products, if possible. Yeah, and that's super important.
But when you talk about this, I can't help think about, it's not meant as a provocation, but maybe it sounds a little bit like a provocation, because basically if you look at the Horizon offerings, you have the BQ series, you have the AFV series, you have the Stitch Liner series. I mean, a lot of these developments are really unique and truly great products, but it also seems a little bit that iterations after iterations is that brings them forward to the market. Is there still room for revolutions in the industry, or is it iterations where the technology is integrated more into the demands from the market in your view?
I think definitely yes, there is room for innovation. When you compare, for example, the old
Stitch Liner. I said revolution.
Revolution.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the reason I'm asking, Tim, is basically because I was just thinking that, you know, when you look at the Horizon products, it is like you have the, I'm just exaggerating, you have the 80s model, the 85 model, the 90 model, and it's just, you know, developing. And I was just thinking, what is the requirements from the market? I mean, you look at inkjet is the new big thing. You look at faster turnaround time, you know, better quality and all the things. I mean, where do you see things going in that perspective?
Yeah, I think in this case, I think the real revolution time is maybe over, honestly speaking. Yeah. So I think there is a development, but this is, I think, in all branches. Okay. I think there will be not a really big step and have a revolution. Maybe I'm wrong. That's also okay.
We check that when we talk in 10 years' time, right?
Yes, please do so. But what we are trying to do is really to have a continuous innovation and continuous development. So I think revolution, of course, we have some revolution in our products. Yeah, for example, when we collect or when we use, for example, the new Mark V and have the new signatures and collect them. I think that is somehow a revolution in this product. But what is really revolution in the market? I think more revolution concentration is on digitalization, integration, product of one, and the integration.
But that is first of all a revolution, because we've been talking about product of one for like a very long time, but now it's actually taking place, right?
It's taking place, yeah. That's taking place, and also what we feel it's taking place, that our customers are considering more the smart finishing or smart factory concept.
So yeah, because that is something that you have been promoting actually for years now, the Think Smart Factory concept, where it's not just Smart Factory Industry 4.0, but actually taking it a little bit step further, because you take it from the entire manufacturing process, right?
Yeah, that's right. We are trying to be one of the first supplier on the market to influence the first mover of our customers to use these products. Yeah. Of course, sometimes we are not the fastest, but we really try to be the fastest in the market. Yeah. And we see the smart factory concept. It's really starting at this moment.
When I met you the first time, that was actually in Kyoto for the Think Smart Factory event that you did with a lot of partners. I know that you have a lot of partners. How important is partnering with the industry players for a company like Horizon?
When you see our portfolio, our machine portfolio, you said that we have Stitch Liner, so the stitching, the binding, folding, and so on. So we are at the moment already concentrating on a really wide range of products. And what is difficult, of course, to concentrate, for example, on robots. So I think at this moment it doesn't make sense to produce a robot arm, for example, or to take care about logistics products. So it's really becoming important to have partners and partnership, not only in this logistic parts, but as well in printing, for example.
So that basically means that you have kind of defined your hotspot for Horizon, and then basically you interface to the things around Horizon that you know is important, but that is maybe not of interest to produce yourself right now.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So for the moment, yes. I don't know about the future.
No, who knows? Right? Yeah, that's the most difficult to predict about, right?
Of course, yeah. We don't know if there's an interesting product we can produce. Yes, maybe yes.
I mean, in Kyoto, I mean, you had robot arms, you had AGVs, you had like showing off a lot of very good ideas for how to make the smart factory a reality. Last question, two questions maybe, is when we as an industry, and I talk about we as media and you as a vendor, talk about the smart factory, do you think that we are a little bit ahead of what the real requirements from customers are? I mean, are we talking about something that is in demand right now, or are we talking about something that we wish would be in demand right now?
There is a demand. We sold already some robots. Also the last big orders was including with a robot. We see that this is becoming reality. Of course, it really depends on the industry. I think car industry, I think they are much more advanced than our industry. I think our industry is very much traditional industry still, but many companies are coming up and have industrial production. And of course they have to consider what is with their staff. Can they find educated staff in the future? What is about the shifts? What is about all the machine run? I think they have to consider about the smart factory concept.
I can't help think about, because I mean, I don't know how many printing companies there are in Germany right now, but some years ago it was like 8,000-10,000, something like that, and probably smaller now, a smaller number right now. But I was just thinking that if you look at the companies in the market, I mean, is it so easy to use smart factory enabled products that it is for everybody, or is it more for the specialized bigger printing companies, in your opinion?
I think it's really a development. Yeah. So if there is if you, for example, are a small printing shop or printing company, I think you first consider maybe a robot arm, or you first consider how to connect our machines, or maybe also our machines and other machines, printing machines, print finishing, and of course other bigger players or bigger companies. They are considering a little bit more in advance. They are considering already the whole concept. But this is really depending on the size of company. But we are ready, and we can send all solutions and all our products to all size of customers, and that's what we are proud of.
Fantastic, Timm. I wish you all the best. It was great talking to you, and I think, I mean, listening to what we've been talking about here, it seems that you have a lot of work ahead of you still, right?
Of course, yes.
Okay. Great.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Thank you.